Hello everyone, my name is Amanda Pinzone. I'm a student at Ball State University in course SPCE 610 in the summer 2024 semester, and today I'm going to be talking about multiple stimulus without replacement preference assessment and going to go over how to conduct one. So before we begin, I kind of wanted to go over what exactly is a preference assessment. A preference assessment is multiple different assessments. There's more than one that can be used to help determine a highly preferred item. Within the preference assessment, you'll be able to rank or create a preference hierarchy of the most preferred item to the least preferred item. And then these can then be used to determine potential reinforcers. A preference assessment only determines if an item is liked more or less when compared to other preferred items. It does not determine if this item is reinforcing. For that, you would have to use a reinforcer assessment, and that will then determine the efficacy of the item as a reinforcer. So does it help increase the target behavior that you want it to increase? For a preference assessment, you're just determining if that the individual really enjoys that item or not. So there are different types of preference assessments. There's free operant, single stimulus, paired stimulus, or forced choice, multiple stimulus with replacement, and multiple stimulus without replacement. This is just a general overview of the different types, but today we'll just be focusing on multiple stimulus without replacement. So now we're going to talk about the steps to follow when conducting this preference assessment. On the left-hand side, I have an example of what the steps would look like for an edible item, but I'll go more into detail with that, but you can follow along with the steps provided. So before beginning the assessment, the materials you'll need are your data sheet and then 5 to 7 tangible or edible items that may be preferred for the individual. Some other things to note is just to make sure that you're conducting this in a distraction-free environment, so like that the individual's focus on you and your directions. So the first step is to set a table or the floor across from the individual within their line of vision. Place all of the pre-selected items in a line on the desk or the floor. Provide the direction to pick one or what do you want. If the individual tries to pick up 2 items at a time, block the response and restate the direction to only pick one. I've seen people also use clipboards or just with their hand to block the response and then just restate again. Once they've picked an item, allow the individual to play with the item for 15 to 30 seconds. Within this time, collect data on the item that was selected and shuffle the array of items to decrease positional bias. Once data is collected and the items have been moved in the array, have the individual relinquish the item and place it out of sight. The main thing is do not place that item back in the array. Once that individual has selected the item, you'll have one less item than what you began with. And then you will repeat steps 3 to 7 until you have no more items left or the client just doesn't choose one. So you'll remove the item and then restate again, which one do you want, and so on and so forth until you have none left. This is an example of the data sheet that you could use for a multiple stimulus without replacement. So just some key points. You'll have the name, the list of items, and then this is for 5 different preference assessments on the same item. And then at the end, you'll have the summary based on those 5 preference assessment, which one ranked the highest within those 5. And then on the next slide will be an example using this preference assessment with this data sheet. It will be filled out for preference assessments 1 through 4, and then the video will show the preference assessment number 5 being conducted. Pick one. Okay, my turn. Thank you. Pick one. My turn. Thank you. Pick one. My turn. Pick one. My turn. Pick one. My turn. Thank you. So this is the completed data sheet based off of that example. The biggest thing to note was that the first McDonald's toy was the overall preferred item within all of those preference assessments, which could then be used within a reinforcer assessment to assess if that is a potential reinforcer for that individual.